Thank you for staying with us. Following the just concluded Supreme Court judgment on the gubernatorial election in Ogun State, the governor of the state, Dapo Abiodun, has dedicated his victory to the people in the state. He expressed joy over the judgment, which affirmed his victory at the March 18th governorship election in the state. Recall that a 5-member panel of the court in a unanimous judgment dismissed the appeal by Dapo Abiodun, candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the last governorship election in the state, and affirmed Dapo Abiodun of the All Progressives Congress as the governor of the state. Joining us in the studio to discuss more on this development is the Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications to Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun. Dari, good morning and congratulations to your principal.
Thank you. Thank you.
It must have been a tense day waiting for the judgment. Talk to us. What happened? Yes. You were confident.
We are humans.
Right.
We were confident all the way. Because if you look at what happened on March 18, 2023, you will understand why we were sure, very sure, that we were going to get victory at the Supreme Court. What happened at the Supreme Court is our 4th time of winning the same election. So, the election held March 18, 2023. Prince Dapo Abiodun was declared winner by INEC. The umpires said he won. The people voted for him.
Right.
Naturally, some people were dissatisfied. They proceeded to the tribunal. The judges at the tribunal affirmed this victory at the end of all proceedings. You know, both parties presented their arguments solidly, adequately, and the final decision was that Dapo Abiodun was properly elected as governor. The case went on to the appeal, and the appeal court here in Lagos repeated the affirmation by the tribunal and declared that there were no breaches, no constitutional violations of any sort in the declaration of Governor Dapo Abiodun as re-elected. And then we had the final say at the Supreme Court eventually. So we were waiting for what I would call affirmation and vindication. That's what we were waiting for. But like humans, there were moments when you will be worried that, do we really have to go through all this?
Right.
There were such moments. But there was no time the governor had any doubt in his mind that he won that election. You know, he is a politician who, like I usually say, he does not cut corners. He knew all along that he did nothing contrary, other than contest for an election, campaigned properly to the people, and his activities in the previous 4 years spoke for him. And he won the election to the glory of God. And having to go through the legal, very tortuous, I must say, legal journey to being affirmed was not easy. Like he said after the Supreme Court, it was a very serious distraction.
Right.
It was a very serious distraction. So we had no doubt in our mind that we were going to get justice, that the people of Ogun State were going to get what they voted for, and that's Prince Dapo Abiodun, the executive governor of Ogun State, for another 4 years.
Great.
Interesting. So good to know that he also said that he's relieved now. Because the reason why other people are against his re-election was because they were dissatisfied with certain things. Talk about, I know the last time we had a conversation on this channel, on this, this platform, we talked about insecurity, the issue of security. Go to Songwater, go to Ijokwota, and go to some other places. They said, since the government came there to, bulldoze some of their property, then that development had not really come there. And look at the border entry between Lagos and Ogun State, Gateway State there said that they're not really satisfied. So does that mean that going forward, the governor is going to, ensure that governance reach all of these people, all of these places adequately now that he's relieved?
Since, imagine as governor, over 4 years ago now, there had been no time the governor delayed, let me use the word, delayed in delivering to the people dividends of democracy. He has been up and doing, he's been working. I'll agree with you that development is yet to get to some parts of the state.
Yes.
But I will not agree that there is no development in Ogun State. Look around. The records are there, the signs are there. Even people within and outside the country are attesting to all that he has done. However, those who went to court are not the people of, those who went to court are not just people of Ogun State. They are politicians. There are people who contested against him.
And they have supporters.
And they have their supporters. So they do not represent what I call the aggregate citizenship of Ogun State. Rather, they are people from Ogun State
they represent
having
a voice.
political interest.
They represent a voice.
And having lost to the governor, they feel they would not accept.
They represent a voice.
The voice of the opposition. You can't gag them.
The voice of a cross-section of
opposition.
the people.
The voice of the opposition. That's what they represent.
Not necessarily.
No. We are in politics. When you talk about those who went to court,
right,
they represent the voice of.
No, I didn't talk about those who went to
court. Oh, good.
I'm talking about the
citizens of Ogun State, and that's what I responded to by saying, while I may agree that development is yet to get to some places. It is difficult. It is unacceptable to say there is no development in Ogun State, and we all can see that development will come. I say this regularly, but it will not come at the same time. The government spent the last 4 years putting in place things that you and I will agree also that Ogun State needs. While he was doing that, there are other things the state and the people of the state also need that are yet to be done. Resources will always be an issue. And since we cannot do everything at the same time, there will always be opportunity cost. You understand? So those that are yet to be done are opportunity cost. And the best we can say is, I can tell you, Governor Dapo Abiodun is committed, very, very committed to taking development to every nook and cranny of Ogun State. That's his desire. And as much as, while he was speaking during the Thanksgiving yesterday in Peru, he did say that with all that his government and administration has done in the last 4 years, we have more IGR now. You don't find politicians saying that publicly. When some of these politicians and public officers do some good, let's admit it. He said it publicly. Now I can tell you that we have more money coming into Ogun State. He said it himself. And we have more money to do more schools, build more roads. He said that just yesterday. And he explained that this is as a product of the things we have been doing. He saw Ogun State as a potential destination for investors when he came. He worked hard towards that. Today,
right,
Ogun State has the second highest IGR, behind just one state in Nigeria. Ogun State has been declared as one of the 2 most viable states that can survive without federal allocation. Ogun State has been declared by international organizations as places where you have the best ease of doing business. When you look at all this, to some people, it may not be. People will tell you, hold on, people will tell you, some people will tell you that's what we need. But I tell you, now the outcome of that is that we have more money to do the things we need.
How do you bring this, all of this? It's interesting to hear, to see all of these things.
Okay.
How do you bring it to the people, the average Ogun State indigene? How do they feel the impact?
That's what I've just told you.
How do they? It's because it's beyond just saying it.
No.
To feel the impact.
The governor said, now we have more money. He started listening to build more schools, to construct more roads, to make our health institutions better. That is how we will bring all this to the people. You don't just, you see, here's a man who felt that let's invest Ogun money in making more money. And he's now coming to tell you we are making more money. So he's putting himself up to be challenged.
Great.
That you said we are making more money. Let us see more of these things.
They should
expect that things will get pretty much better. That's the message.
So they can hold him accountable.
He has always been accountable, of course. But now is the time to expect more dividends of democracy from Governor Dapo Abiodun. So, he is willing. He is ready. He has laid the foundation. And work will continue in earnest.
Right.
Since let's talk about what what he's going to do is something, but what he has done is also something that is very important. before now, before the victory came, where he said the distractions have been there, while the distraction was going on, and then also the court cases were going on, he had actually done some things.
A lot of
especially since the incumbent APC administration pronounced that subsidy, was gone.
Yeah.
The people have been reeling from the impact of the removal of the fuel subsidy. Yeah. What intervention scheme or programs the Ogun State government has introduced?
Several. Our state was one of the first to give workers monthly allowance to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal. He announced such allowance for 3 months at the first instance, and he's been extending it, believing that the effect is still there. We can still help our people.
How much?
More. The various workers. But I think the least every month was 10,000 naira. The least every month was 10,000 naira, and workers across all shades got it. So he kept working.
You're talking about the civil servants. What about those who are non-civil servants?
For the people, there were grants. For example, people increased the volume of the grant they call Okowo Dapo for traders. Rather than have allowed the impact of the subsidy removal to run down business in Ogun State, he pumped in grants. And go to Ogun State, go across the markets. They will tell you how effective, how helpful the grant for Okowo Dapo has been. For transporters too, there were programs that helped them, survive the hard time. You understand? Various type of grants in various categories.
So that the CNG buses, which...
Then I was coming to that. Then he quickly, imagine as the first to do it, put out CNG buses. Gas-powered buses that, look, it will help. And we put some of these buses in some locations to help people move. And now you have it on the corridor to Lagos even. Subsidized rate, more space to take people, volume of traffic, and all that. So you would see that we have a governor who identified totally with the people during that trial period. And he's still identifying with the people, even now. So you can be rest assured that his desire is to do more. And he's actually going to do more. Subsidy or no subsidy, the people of Ogun State have been feeling the impact of this administration.
Right. I recall that we had a conversation with regards to the agro-cargo airport.
International airport.
At the time. I'm wondering where we are with that and what's...
I'm happy. I'm happy to come here and tell you that just last week,
right.
In fact, on the day the judgment was delivered in Abuja, the first commercial flight. There have been planes landing there. I told you when I came that the vice president of Federal Republic of Nigeria landed there with other dignitaries. Yeah. But I'm here to now tell you that the first commercial flight to land at the Gateway International Agro-Cargo Airport landed last Friday. And I was one of the passengers.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I think that speaks volume of where we are. Valley Jet Airline landed the plane, filled up with passengers, and I happened to be one of them. A lot of people landed at the airport in Iperuremo, and that's...
So it has kick-started operations in full.
You should understand the technicalities involved. No plane will land in a place that is not approved for such. So, right. I mean, we have said it times without number that it is a project that holds, that is there to the future of Ogun State. And the government holds it very, very committedly. And with that commercial flight landing, the people of Ogun State should look forward to a wonderful time with the state taking its rightful position in the business, in the economy, and the socio-political life of our region. Not just Nigeria, the West African region. Recently, talks emerged between Ogun State and the Republic about that airport. You can see the proximity. A lot of other West African countries are looking forward to that airport as alternatives to many things they have to do.
Right.
A lot of businesses in Lagos, in Abuja, in Port Harcourt are considering having offices, locations around here now because they know there is an airport they can take off and land at. Many things. I cannot begin to tell you the agric part of it, which is key too.
No, it's
a lot
important.
of companies are now considering going into agricultural productions because the issue of having to stay long in traffic, if you have to take anything out of the country through the Lagos International Airport and all that, is now reduced. With what has happened on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, making it smooth ride to Ikperu, I can bet. And with the development going on in the rail sector, the trains and all that around us here.
Well, critical to this is the state of the roads, which is also very critical to all of this that you're saying. The state of the roads, some of the roads.
I told you when I came last that we cannot enjoy in full the benefits of that airport without fixing some of the roads that are little. And you need to come around and see. Work is on all fronts in that direction.
Some weeks ago, I was there. And,
at the airport?
Not at the airport, but coming to Ogun State.
Tell me where you passed. Not just coming to Ogun State is the gateway state.
I know.
Tell me, be specific. Where are you talking about?
I was in Ogun State. I will not give you specifics, but
then you don't want to,
on my way into Ogun State, the road was.
Okay, for instance, one of the roads which I mentioned was between the one that borders Lagos and Ogun State, Water.
That is a Lagos-Abeokuta
Expressway. Yeah,
that's why I will keep asking for specifics. Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway
and it's been there for years.
It's a federal road. See, I keep coming here to explain this, and I think it's important we let the people understand what goes on. It's a federal road. In spite of that, Ogun State have been asking the federal government to release it to Ogun State so that the state could fix it.
And I think
for years,
the president had already
about a month, 2 ago. It was after 5 years. Let's the approval came that okay, Ogun can take it. But the Federal Ministry of Works is sorting out some things with people who claim to have been awarded the road before. It's not something you just jump. There are legal issues to it. There are technicalities to it. Right. But Ogun is ready for that road. Whatever it takes, His Excellency Governor Dapo Abiodun is going to work on that road. He has spent years seeking approval. Now that we have it, we are just waiting for
to address the
stakeholders to sort out their issues. And then, in a situation where you want to do such a road, a state desirous of fixing it because our people are the ones using the road, like other Nigerians. And some people feel that no, because in 1 year or some years ago, they were giving that contract. And if you have a contract and you are not delivering on it, shouldn't you be happy that somebody is coming to do it to the benefit of the people? These are some things we don't understand in governance. And all we want to do is blame the governor or blame those who should do it.
So in other words, you're saying that that particular Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway would definitely be addressed in the remaining dispensation of...
Definitely. Once the legal issues, whatever, are done with, Ogun is ready.
Governor Abiodun signed or presented rather 703 billion naira 2024 budget, and then called it a budget of sustained growth and development, and that which you've been speaking to so far. In the area of agriculture, you mentioned something like that. You talked about the economy. What about education? Because we know that so many states are falling short behind.
Ogun is not. It's obviously not one of those states.
Because I read the report where the governor was talking about he being open to more universities.
More university. I mean, just on Saturday, we were in Agoiwe for the opening of a private university. The government encourages education a lot. And no state governor in Nigeria has done what we have done in the area of encouraging education, especially in public schools. The Ogun Teach program, where we recruit teachers. First, they are recruited to be part of the Ogun Teach interns, they get paid like every other staff of the government. The only thing is that you are not confirmed as civil servants yet. And after, recently we confirmed about 3,000 of them in one act. And then more people. So the issue of not having teachers in public school does not affect Ogun State. And we are continuous with that. We are solving the issue of unemployment too with that action. Then the renovation of schools going on in Ogun State. You go everywhere, you see the school roofs are all yellow. Old, new, villages, towns, remote locations. Right. There is a specific program that takes care of schools, both primary and secondary. And then you come to our tertiary institutions, you see relative peace, relative understanding between the institutions and the locals, because we want to ensure that boats are not rocked. Learning goes on smoothly. And that's what it... So the educational sector in Ogun is one of the most vibrant. The most vibrant, I must tell you. But more will be done. Of course, if you check the budget, you'll see...
Yeah, 109.2.
Right. Quickly, before we go, is the matter of security, how the government intends to improve on that now that he's no longer distracted.
And you will agree with me that security in Ogun is always on the front burner. We are just next door to Lagos. And on the other side, we are bordered by Ibadan. Most criminalities that happen in Ogun State are not like some people want people to believe, targeted at certain set of people. They're just like criminals, like you find them anywhere. But what I'm always stressing is how we react when such happen. And Ogun has been fantastic in react. Look at the issue of Shagamu, call this, call that. We are in this country now. You saw a reaction. You can see what has happened afterwards. Then robberies. Since then, a lot of these people who foment violence across have been arrested. Even some of them prominent people. And the government is not interested in who you are. Were you part of this violent act? Answer for it. And it is yielding fruit. More people are now understanding that when you go to do what you ought not to do, you will face the music. All right. And it's helping. And our relationship with the security agencies in Ogun State is, you can find out, top notch. And it's helping. And governor is always willing and ready to give assistance in the area of what they need to work.
Interesting. We hope to see more developments in Ogun State now that he's no longer distracted. Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senior Special Assistant on Public Communication to Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun, for your time on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Okay, let's talk some sports now. It was a huge win for South Africa on Sunday as they finished with 4 goals against Namibia, who had none. After losing to Mali some days back, this meant a must-win for them as they roared into a 3-goal lead by halftime. And the final goal at the last lap